the same.
It is the same. It is the same. And
It's less distracting with footnotes.
it can be, it can be. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like that's what I'm being called to do.
Yeah,
Hey, Carla. Hi, Carla.
nice.
Yeah. So, anywho, yeah,
Okay.
we were just gabbing, so I didn't record what we were talking about, although it'll be in the transcript. But Kathleen and I were already having a conversation about our section today. So, but I'm sure we'll revisit a lot of it. So I'm just going to pray and we'll get started. So, placing my hands on my heart, taking that breath of love and gratitude. So incredibly grateful and thankful for this time to come together with these precious souls. Grateful and thankful for our willingness to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for our willingness to say yes, yes to dedicating our lives and our being to being the love that we were born to be, to being the beautiful, innocent, unconditional, loving beings, thoughts in God's mind that we truly are. We're grateful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers that inspire us and guide us and bless us. May they bless everyone here and all who may listen later. We're grateful to be great open receivers in mind and body and soul. And we're grateful to be able to share all that we receive and all that we are with Mother Earth and all her beings because we're one. In grace and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So we are in still chapter 4, the ego struggle to preserve itself, section 3, the making of the ego. And I think I will start us with paragraph 4. An extreme example is a good teaching aid, not because it is typical, but because it is clear. The more complex the material, the clearer the example should be for teaching purposes. But as we have said before, all good teaching devices in the hands of a good teacher are aimed at rendering themselves unnecessary. I would therefore like to use the above person's state as an example of how the mind can work, provided that you fully recognize that it need not work that way. I never forget this myself, and a good teacher shares his own ideas in which he himself believes. Otherwise, he cannot really profess them as we used the term before. And when I read that paragraph, I'm like, okay, so this is why I find it so much more helpful to share from my own personal experience and to hear other people's own personal experience of what their understanding and perception and living of these, of what we're reading, so much more helpful than just hearing somebody give advice or hearing somebody just repeat the words from A Course in Miracles, like just spew it as, like if you're sharing something that is, for me, has been my experience. If I'm sharing something that feels challenging or painful or, whatever I'm going through, whether I'm being judgy or whatever it would be, if somebody just spouts words from A Course in Miracles, it just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I love the course because I do feel that it speaks to every single situation that I have ever experienced. But that's not, I feel like when I'm sharing an experience with someone, even a very dedicated, long time course student, that I would like to receive their humanness first, their compassion, their understanding, their love first before I hear, whatever coming from A Course in Miracles. And to me, that's what Gary Renard talks about in Disappearance of the Universe. where he's like, you're not going to go to a funeral and just say, well, none of this is real. Don't be weird. Be a loving, kind human being first and foremost. So, and the rest will follow. So that's where I'm starting us with. Who else would like to share? Well, I can continue. So I also circled paragraph 6. You forget the love which even, and this was Kathleen and I were talking about, you forget the love which even animals have for their own offspring and the need they feel to protect them. This is because they regard them as part of themselves. No one disowns something he regards as a real part, as a very real part of himself. You react to your ego much as God does to his sons, with love, protection, and great charity. Your reaction to the self you made is not at all surprising. In fact, it duplicates in many ways the way you will one day react to your real creations, which are as timeless as you are. And so when I read this is why I feel like, Jennifer's teaching of talking to ourselves with kindness, like sweetheart, darling, like you're a little child or an animal that you love, that when your ego seems to rise up and rear its, most disgusting head in any given moment, that if you talk to it as though it's just a child that didn't know any better, I feel like I get way better results than if I try to ignore it or ask it to go away, or just look at it with disdain and disgust or hatred. I feel like my ego when it comes up, because it comes up every single friggin' day, that when my ego comes up, that if I look at it, and this is where I feel like my internal family systems training was so helpful, because if I look at it as a part of myself from my younger days, when I was less spiritually, mentally, and emotionally mature, and realized that it was just a part of me that was having an experience that it didn't feel safe. And so it came up with these ways that it thought would make it feel safe. And even if it's not helpful in this moment, I can appreciate the way that it was trying to make me feel safe. And also let it know that I, in my present state, am a safe space for it, and I'm the one driving the bus. As Paula can probably relate to, I'm the one driving the bus, not the little ego children that are in the back being, whatever. So yeah, I just feel like it softens and it's not as loud. But I'm not going to, like he was talking about in 8, a baby screams in rage if you take away a knife or scissors, even though he may harm himself if you do not. If the ego baby is screaming, I'm still going to take away the knife or the scissors, because it's not helpful and could be detrimental. So, Carla.
Okay, I think I got my computer's all hosed up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been kind of it's been coming across my mind a teaching by Regina Dawn Akers. Does anybody know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's about being the empty shell. So if we don't know what anything's for, we let go of thinking. If we let go of planning, I mean, we've been told everything in the course, but it's so many words. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in thinking because we're trying to figure it out. But who's trying to figure it out? Because that's the false self. I call it the false self, which is we call it ego too. Because the true self, the spirit self, what are you going to call it? The higher self knows. And so, but it's so loving. It's so loving. If we want to think or plan or judge or whatever, we're allowed to do it because that's what God would do. God allows us to everything. So I'm just speaking about my experience. There's two things I want to share. Is that one, I don't know anything. You know anything? All these words that come out of my mouth, it's me speaking them. I'm using my voice and my vocal cords, whatever. But I don't even know what the hell it is I said most of the time. I don't know. And so I've been practicing becoming the empty shell, not knowing what should I do next. I mean, I used to do that, ask what should I do, and I didn't hear any answer because I think I already had an idea of what I wanted to do. And so the higher self does not stomp on me, the ego, whatever you want to call it, doesn't ever judge, doesn't ever say I'm doing. I mean, who says that? It's always ego saying I made a mistake or as I cannot fail. I think, but in the course we cannot fail, but we can really delay. I guess that doesn't. I don't think it says that, but we can delay because we choose what the curriculum or whatever. So I've been doing this, and I don't read the whole section. I don't think about writing the poem. I don't ever do that. I'm just practicing because we're one with God. And so, but God isn't a body. And so when we come in this body, we're actually experiencing life differently. Is a separate, like we're a separate self. And I think I read this. I think I may even spoke about this quote that the first half of your life is developing how they go, and the second half is going within and letting go of it. And so I guess I'm in the second half of my life. But so I never, last time I said I read this, I didn't read it really. I don't know how far. As soon as the poem started coming out, I stopped reading it. But so I started reading it again. I just, there's a lot of concepts, and I just stopped. And so I just opened the book and wait to be shown. And so what I was shown was paragraph 7, line 1. The question is not how you respond toward your ego, but only what you believe you are. Okay, the stuff that comes out of me or whatever it is, I speak like I know or what. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't really know who I am, because if I truly did that, man, probably the things I could accomplish would be huge. So I'm just practicing being human, letting go, remembering, whatever, all that stuff. Is it? But what I'm really focusing on is noticing what I'm told. The voice that's speaking, is that loving? I mean, it's a judgment right there. No, it's not loving. I'm not gonna do it. So I don't know. I just feel it's like I send out. I call it my spidey sense. I send out a sense, and it. Sometimes I do it, and sometimes forget. So I'll tell you an experience. When I was in Savita, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was sitting in the car, and for some reason I did it. I said out, should I go to Target? Because I need whatever, I can't remember what it was. It's something I needed. And I got them the answer, no, I'm feeling, no. And so I went home, I did it, I followed. I'm like, I'm thinking, I mean, I could have thought, oh, I really want that, but I didn't. I let go of thinking and just followed and went home. And then when I went home, I realized, oh, there's something else I needed. So I went back and I got both of them. So I only had to make one trip. So I don't know what I'm saying, but clearly it's just a letting go of thinking. I think that's what maybe what did us in to begin with, the fruit of knowledge, or what got us thinking and believing our thoughts. And it's not like it took us millions of years to get here. Maybe it did, but supposedly in the story, Cain killed Abel back then. So there's always been something. So then maybe that's what we're here to practice, letting go of that something and being nothing. Ego, the false self, the body self, I need do nothing. Everything that happens, I didn't plan it. I would plan having an attack. I wouldn't do that. That somehow it's helpful. Everything, even the stuff that feels so excruciating. And why does that feel so excruciating? Because I'm not letting go of something that I need to let go of. And I'm like holding on for dear life. And you know what? That's why it's painful. I create the pain. The higher self would not do that. It just does everything for me. I cannot fail. The higher self never told me I was wrong or bad. Who's saying that? Who's been saying that in my mind? Not my true self. And thank you. Mute me because I'm not sure I can. Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you, Carla. Go ahead, Paula.
I'm on the phone and I don't know what I'm doing because
That's all right.
our internet is out.
Oh, wow.
Frustrating. It's been over a week. All right. the end of, I got two sentences that really hit me. The end of 5. Why are you surprised that something happened in the dim past when it can so clearly happen right now? Reminds me of a teaching that I was studying about that our consciousness is like the iceberg. There's like 5% of it that's out of the water and the rest of it's under the water. And all of a sudden things happen that I don't even remember that happened. I'm reacting to something. I'm thinking, I forgot that even happened. Oh, okay. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I think I'll just forgive myself. Here we go again. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me, especially when Jennifer used to say, what, and you ask these questions. And I think, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. But then afterwards it would come to me. I don't have quick answers, but it would come to me. And then the last sentence of 9, be patient a while and remember what we said once before. The outcome is certain as God. And patience is not one of my virtues. I want to know this ego thing so I can, that's just my personality. It is not, and I wish I could say that it's cured, but I still have in certain, it's like the internet. I tell my husband every day, call him up and see what's going on. I have no control over this. I'm grateful I have a phone that I can use. But it even is in the beginning of all this teaching, because I'm new. I'm really fairly new to the Course in Miracles. And when I was in Jennifer's classes, I all these people were spouting up all this stuff, and I thought, I don't understand a word. It's like German. I don't get it. But now I'm getting into it, and I'm really getting it. So I'm really grateful for that. So yeah. I'll try to mute myself now. Here we go.
Okay. You got it. Yeah. Thank you, Paula. And I felt the same way when I was reading the course off and on for decades. And I would read something and it was like reading another language that I never studied. But on another level, there was something in it that was like, this feels like truth, even though I don't understand the thing that I read. It feels like the truth, at the core of my being. So I stuck with it. And, I'm grateful that a friend of mine introduced me to Gary Renard's book, Disappearance of the Universe, because for me, that felt like there was some kind of key that unlocked my understanding of what I was reading. And doing this with you guys for the past 5 or 6 years, like blowing my mind, just blowing my mind how amazing the shift is in my, not only my ability to understand it, but my ability to embody it and live it. Not 100%, but I'm doing it way better than I used to.
Yeah, I wanted to feel the experience of God. So that's how it brought me to the Course in Miracles. And as I read it, I stopped. I thought, this is crazy, but there's something that resonated with me. There's something about the feeling of closeness to God that really sunk in my consciousness, because then I found Jennifer, and then I found, one step, and here's another. So something did resonate. It's just that my ego thought, there's no way, way, so something touched my soul when I started it. So yeah.
Thanks, Paula.
Paula, I like how you have compassion coming out the side of your head in the picture.
Yes.
Remember, God, this whole thing is mind altering to me. I guess I'll just read a little of 2. Each person makes one ego for himself, although it's subject to enormous variation because of its instability, and one for everyone he perceives, which is equally variable. Their interaction is a process which literally alters both, because they were not made either by or with the unalterable God. It's particularly important to realize this alteration can and does occur as readily when the interaction takes place in the mind as when it involves physical presence. Thinking about another ego as is effective in changing relative perception, I guess of myself, not them, as effective in changing relative perception as is physical interaction. There could be no better example of the fact that the ego is an idea, though not a reality-based thought. It's an idea, but not a thought. So that is beyond me, but whatever. Because they're kind of the same thing in my mind. And then the best concrete example you could have of how the mind could have made ego is a person who has great propensity for revelation. I'm thinking about my sister Michelle, big Course in Miracles student, suddenly swing to its complete opposite. Now she's a mega Trump person who doesn't want to read the Course. Such a person does have real knowledge at times, but when she throws it away, it's as if she never had it. And I think she'll probably start up again. She said she wanted to go beyond words, but I remember Robert Perry responding to that. It's like, you can't go beyond. If you're reading the Course in Miracles, you can't go beyond words. It's words. It's all words. It's frustrating when people say, oh, I want to go beyond words, even though I get that too. But anyway, so it just makes me no, it's important how we think about other people because we're thinking about them as an ego. So we're messing up our image of them and messing up our image of ourselves. So for me, that means go beyond thought. And I'm just saying exactly what go beyond thought as much as I can. And listen, like everybody's talking about, listen before acting, and be careful how I think about other people, only send them love. So in my own experience, there's this guy, Jonathan, who is my handyman. I remember talking about him last year. And then this other guy, Keith, who introduced Jonathan to me, who is cuckoo, and everyone keep trying to get him out of the park. His mother finally moved out of the park, but he and his sister coming back to the park. They own 4 houses here to take care of him. So I'm out raking because I can't stop raking since the hurricane. I just talk about a physical pull to go outside is to clean up after. It's such a fucking mess here. You can't even comprehend it. There's piles of furniture everywhere. There was already piles of furniture everywhere. Now there's new piles because new neighborhoods got inundated with water, and that water in some places is not going away. There's nowhere for it to go. It has to evaporate. We still have water coming out of our yards and running down the street. So I'm out there raking, and I hear him say, "Shut the F up." And then she mumbled something, "Shut the F up," really loud. And then he says something like, "You're going to see the end of a gun." And I ran back to my house and called the board, somebody on the board. And they're like, no, you got to call the police. So I called the police. And I'm on the phone with the police. And he's like, well, what's the address? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm walking through this yard. And there they are in their car looking up at me. And I just said to him, I'm calling the police on you. And the cop's like, well, you really shouldn't say things like that. And the guy's like, oh, go ahead, you effing B,
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, okay, did I just endanger myself? No, I need to send love to Keith, and I need to send love to his sister. So several days have gone by, and then I saw his sister sitting outside of Target where she works. I thought, I'm not ready, because I could have gone and sat down right next to her. She works there. She was on her phone. I could have sat right down and said, Lisa, I'm really worried about you. Couldn't do it. I went way around her. But this morning, I'm like, okay, I gotta get on this. So I texted her, Lisa, hey, Lisa, I'm concerned about you. Are you okay? My blood curdled when I heard you being verbally abused. Keith has his own higher power. I hope you're taking care of yourself. You both have angels around you, and then big hugs so that she gets some input so that she doesn't think the cops are coming after her. She's very codependent, and so I don't know if she can get away from him or not. But I did say you don't have to listen to news. But a situation like that I created, I could feel myself creating it, running back to the house, calling the cops. What am I doing? Is this Holy Spirit? Is this my ego? And a little bit of fear, like, is he going to come after me in the night? Because he is cuckoo.
Yeah.
Night. Oh, I'm not going to let that be. And I'm going to take normal precautions. And I'm grateful because he introduced Jonathan to me. So there's angels, angelic actions happening. And he came at Jonathan with a knife. Jonathan didn't call the cops because he didn't want to be involved. Anyway, it's just weird, being here in Groundhog Day, attempting to be truly helpful and watch our thoughts, compassionate towards our own inside kid. Or I hate to say I want to treat my ego like a little baby or something. I don't know. I just don't want anything to do with that ego. I guess I created one for myself. Anyway, all is well. Just floating around in Florida. Floating around in Florida. I can see why people are going to move away. God, these people, they just built their dream home on Siesta Key, right where it landed. Boom. Destroyed.
Yeah, the devastation that you are living through and
Watching.
miraculously able to still have some semblance of sanity is mind-blowing, Kathleen.
It is for everyone I talk to and meet
Yeah.
around me. Yeah. And the drum circle people, 3 of them lost everything in their houses and 1 car. So we're all trying to help them, doing their laundry and stuff like that. There's nothing we can do in some except to give them hugs and stuff. It is a horrible feeling. It's absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah.
I just want to cry right now.
Yeah.
The first time I felt like crying. It's like,
Kathleen, did you see the other part of this? It says self-compassion.
yes,
I
that's
mean,
what
seriously, I'm not telling you what you need to do, but boy, having self-compassion, you've gone through hell and back. You've gone through hell and back, and you're right there in that survive. I mean, I have such compassion for you, and I pray that you can have self-compassion for yourself, because this is big. It's big.
yeah,
My
everyone in the
goodness.
state is crazy. I swear, everyone is insane.
I know.
We're just looking at each other like every single person I look at, I'm like, oh, I want to hug you. How was a hurricane for you? And then yesterday at Costco, when I'm doing my Costco thing, standing in line, people are even more wanting to talk. This lady says, well, just wait, just wait for what the government's going to do next. I'm like, the government did not create hurricane.
Right.
And she's like, well, have you heard of blah, 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 some new theory of how the government is making the hurricane go to Asheville, North Carolina? So I had to walk away from her and shake my head. And then I came back, and the lady sitting there in her power chair, she's like, sad, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, it's sad because they're so scared. So scared.
Yeah.
But then I walked by the lady herself, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to have any bad feelings. So I just looked down at my piece of pizza and went, oh, doesn't this look good? And she's like, oh yeah, it looks yummy. She was able to smile.
You're doing God's work there, Kathleen. It makes me want to cry because you are embracing what feels like the unembraceable sometimes. People that are so afraid that they cling on to those conspiracy theories in order to live out their self prophecy of victimhood for eternity. And you're treating them with compassion, with kindness, with love in the best way that you can. And that, I feel like that propensity, that drive that you have to go out and rake every single day is such amazing somatic work that you're doing, because you have to get those emotions out of your body. And so you're doing it by doing that physical labor. The work that you are doing, I mean, it may seem like it's not that big of a deal, just raking and helping your neighbors and going to Costco but holy shit, girl, you are,
Yeah,
I
I'm on the
mean,
battlefield, right?
it just blows my mind. You're a
Glad I'm doing something.
superhero. You are.
Yeah. Working with Jonathan is really a challenge. Says, I'm not a victim. I know I'm responsible for my actions, but oh my God, the way he talks about other people, like people are really bad these days. People are awful these days. I've been let down by everyone in my life except you, Kathleen. Blah, 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 blah about other people, how awful everybody is. Victim. And I
Yeah.
can't make him see that,
Right.
not yet. And we went out to dinner. I went and dropped him home, halfway home. We sit down at this restaurant. I'm eating. He's drinking one Long Island iced tea after another on his phone. Yeah, sure, I'll take another. Later, he said, they charged me $10 each for those. This is a man who's trying to save money to pay up incredible debt, which he's doing, trying to get his son back, trying to, I mean, it make it almost impossible to get back to normal if once you're a felon. He's got to pay so many fees. And even being on probation, you have to pay $150 a month for your probation officer thing. To get his driver's license back, he has to pay car insurance of like $3,000 every 6 months and get a breathalyzer attached, which is $150 a month. You know, so his mom's driving him around to jobs. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then this asshole, here we go, is running for president, who's a felon, 30 felonies. That's the craziest fucking thing I swear we're living through. That a felon is
for
running.
me, it's the greatest forgiveness opportunity that we have.
Yeah.
Like, if we can forgive ourselves for the judgments that we have against Donald Trump. I mean, to me, Donald Trump appears to be like an ego on fucking steroids. And pardon my French, but like, it really seems like he's the devil incarnate at times. And at the same time, what I know in my heart to be true is that
he's innocent.
He was a child that was neglected and possibly abused, and these are the things that have brought him up to be the way that he is. And so I can have compassion for him, even though I do not want him to be my president. I want to have compassion for him because he is not any better or worse than I am. He is a child of God, just like me.
Yeah. And even, he's a child of God, just like me. He's part of me.
Yes.
He's part of me that acts like an asshole and is mean.
Yes.
Makes judgments, and the mass consciousness is putting him in front of us so that we can see what the ego looks like. To me,
Yes.
I mean, that is what our ego looks like, people.
Yes.
Yeah, we can have compassion for it, but I don't want it in charge.
No, me either. But here's the thing. And I don't think Grace would mind me sharing this, but we've been having conversation back and forth about her youngest daughter who has been out of work for 9 months. And, I was telling her like some of my experiences of the things that seem to be happening in the world where I had judgments about other people or situations, and how it was my job to take responsibility for how I was seeing it. And as soon as she got that, her daughter got a job.
Now say that again. As soon as she got what?
As soon as she was able to take responsibility for seeing her daughter the way that she's been seeing her, and for the judgments that she's been holding against her, she texted me that her daughter got a job.
That's great.
It's
She wanted
like,
to call me last week and it didn't happen.
yeah, this is the miracle. This
Oh.
is the miracle. When we realize that we are the ones that are creating all of this stuff, as soon as we forgive ourselves for creating it and just get really clear on how we would like to feel and how, you know, what we would like to experience, it goes away.
Everything shifts. Yeah. I have an
Yes.
ant on my hand.
Oh,
I have to go take it outside.
okay.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I am responsible for what I see. The course tells us that I choose the experiences and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. I am responsible. There is no other. There is nothing. There is nobody outside of me. So every experience that I have is a creation, a figmentation of my imagination. Even y'all. But this is one that I really like.
Thank you for saying that, because I was thinking, I try not to watch the news. Every once in a while I like to get my little fix about it, but I was more judgmental about, I just could not understand how people can't see him as the
Mhm.
cuckoo that he is. And my whole family, I'm the only one in our family that is not Republican. And I don't understand it. But you know what? I used to be them. I was that Catholic. I marched against abortion. I did all that stuff. And that's what they're doing. You know, they're doing that now. And I'm having a hard time accepting it, because I need to forgive myself for judging them, because I was them. They're me.
Yeah.
You know, because that I could. And the other day, somebody was interviewing somebody. They were interviewing a black guy. And he said, I am voting for Trump because I want more money in my pocket. And I thought, well, that makes sense. I don't know how they figured that's the answer, but
Yeah.
because I could not understand how anybody could watch him and believe anything that he says. But I don't need to know anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It is that ego that he is showing me how powerful my ego can be if I choose to stay with it, and I choose not to.
I know
Yeah.
it must be amazing to be him, to be able to just spew lies. I mean, he just spews lies just to see what will happen, and nothing happens.
Yes, whatever. I see. Whatever happened to decency of being a proud president of the United States, that you have certain values and certain things that, I'm not saying that they should be on a pedestal, but I don't know. I need to let go of it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we look at the fact that he's been convicted of 36 felonies charges, his fear of being incarcerated, his fear of having consequences for that is probably the motivation, that all the motivation that he needs for trying to get to be the president. So he can then be like pardoned of all of that, or somehow it can be expunged from his record. So his fear is what is motivating him. He will say and do anything to get to be president of the United States, because he is afraid of what will happen to him if he does not become president.
And if he becomes president, oh well. I mean, we can't lose our minds or anything.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like, if I trust God, then I trust that no matter what happens, it's divinely ordained.
Yes.
Even if I curse at it.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so proud to be an American. We have a felon for a president, a rapist. We just love our sexual abusing felon president.
Yeah. But my job is to forgive myself for judging him as that.
Yep.
Because,
Yeah, not to think about it.
you know, there are definitely ways that I cannot put myself in his shoes as the reasoning why he does things. But I certainly have had times in my life where I felt murderous rage, where I was like, oh, I can see how people would kill each other.
Absolutely.
And so I know that that is within me. And so if I can forgive myself for that, then I'm forgiving him, and then I don't need to experience that anymore.
Think about it much.
Yeah.
Send him a
Yeah. Carla, go ahead.
Um, I'm grateful for this conversation that it's not that I need to forgive him for all the things he's done. What what comes to me, I don't know, it's just all words, but is, and it is about forgiving me, myself, for judging him as that.
Right.
What it is it's forgiving his identification. That's what it is. He is identified. He is something not real or true, and especially if I don't know what's going to happen, but if he does become president, I really need to forgive everybody who's voted for him. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's huge. I mean, the fact that he's even running, wow. It's there's so much. I mean, I think what Jennifer says is all forgiveness is self-forgiveness, right?
Yes.
It's all about, I mean, I live every day with this ataxia and whatever this appearance, but if I judge myself as, oh, I just don't like living like that, I'm identifying as the body. I am not the body alone, just the body. I'm the spirit self. I I don't know how to put it in words, but is like at this time connected to this body. And I see them experiencing all this, everything is either a healing or a lesson. And actually, if we get that, it's both. It becomes both the healing and the lesson.
Mhm.
And so we're in this world, it's in this body, in this world. It's really challenging to be in the world and respond to the world, but not believe we are from the world. We're not of this world. We are the divine self. And it's so
yes.
challenging, and it's really hard to be grateful for the challenge.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know I don't have to forgive him. I have to forgive myself for the
Yeah,
judgments that I've placed on him.
right. Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. I just like that last sentence in 6. It duplicates in many ways the way you will one day react to your real creations, which are as timeless as you. So somewhere we're creating in a way we can't even comprehend. And then we're creating, even though there's no such thing as time, we're creating something that exists forever. Wow. What are these real creations? I see one.
Yeah.
Angel wing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what he says too in 8, undermining the foundations of an ego's thought system must be perceived as painful, even though this is anything but true.
Yeah.
Babies scream in rage if you take away a knife or scissors, even though they may well harm themselves if you do not. In this sense, you are a baby. You have no sense of real self-preservation and are very likely to decide that you need precisely what would hurt you. And this is why, for me, like, truth can sometimes bring up anger with my personality self. like when I have a thought that keeps repeating over and over and over again, and I know in my heart of hearts that if I write a forgiveness letter, that's going to help. That will help me to release whatever that thought is, whatever that painful, challenging thing is. And then there's still some part of me that's like rebelling against it. No, I'm not doing that. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh because, you know, that's the part of me that wants to run with scissors.
Yeah.
And that's
Um,
okay.
but the first sentence, undermining the foundations of an ego's thought system, we can do that. That's what it's saying. We can
Yes.
undermine the foundation of an ego thought system. Yay.
Yeah.
Then up above that says things can be different. That's the biggest thing an ego can conceive of, is wanting the loftiest idea of which an ego thinking is capable. Belief that there is another way is the loftiest idea of which ego thinking is capable. And that's what, Helen and her buddy Bill, they said there's got to be a better way, and boom, she
Yeah.
gets some miracles.
Yeah. But if I'm living in the space of this needs to be different, like in the world and in the situation or in the person, this needs to be different, instead of my perception of it needs to be different. That's the gap in between. If I can let go of this desire for things to be different than they actually are in this moment, then the resistance starts to fall away, and I can feel like everything in my body relax a little bit, and things are much clearer. Like I can hear my inspiration much clearer. And so I know that what I'm doing is being guided by spirit, instead of being motivated by my ego's fear of something happening.
Right. And if we only want God, if that's all we want, then we can finally step out of the reincarnational cycle.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, I still like my house and my cat and my hair and
Right.
my driveway, whatever.
Me too.
So, but more and more, like when I listen to Nuke Sanchez and her sister, they unpack that daily lesson so well. They stop and talk about it. They don't just like whip through it. And talking about like less and less wanting anything in the world, it's really a huge topic for them. How they didn't do that for many, many, many years, of course.
Yeah.
That anything that we want here in the world says it ends up making us feel bad or having pain, which I haven't really experienced that completely, but I get it, that it's not as fulfilling as creating in a way that I've never created before. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. What a fun hour we've got to spend with each other.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything that they'd like to share before we close out?
No, just asking for prayers for everybody here in Florida and everyone in the United States making these decisions. They're voting right now. I already voted before the hurricanes. Yeah, highest and best for everybody.
Amen. Absolutely. Thank you, Kathleen. And thank you for all the work that you are doing. It may seem small, but it's immense. It's immense, and it is superhero material. Absolutely. So next week, we will continue in chapter 4, section 4, the ego's need to confirm itself. Yeah, it's a little bit longer section than what we read for today, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'm going to finish this off, if I can find it. Here we go, with the insight for today's lesson, which is 289. The past is over. It can touch me not. The more I work with the course, the more I see its simplicity. It all points to the basic principle that there is one problem and one solution. Today, we are seeing that the problem is described as hanging on to the past. Guilt is always about something from the past, but what is over cannot be in the present unless I bring it with me in my mind. When I bring the past with me, I cannot see the present because I have projected the past in its place. The simple solution is to recognize that the past is not here and let it go. With this simple recognition, I am free to see the present clean and clear as what it is. Love is now, because love is all there is. Though the problem and the answer are always the same, my investment in the reality of the problem makes it seem difficult to accept the solution. The ego has concocted countless schemes and images to make the past seem real so that it covers the present. The seeming complexity of these images belies the simplicity of the false idea that underlies them all. This is the ego's defense. For the more complicated the problem appears to be, the less likely the solution will be recognized. And above all else, the ego does not want the solution to be seen. Gratefully, the Holy Spirit does not grab us by the scruff of the neck and hurl us into heaven when we would perceive it as loss and death. Instead, it is present in our mind to teach us, as we are willing, that this world is really nothing. And when we let it go, we are letting go of nothing so that we can accept everything that is real. The past does not hold on to us, for it has no power of its own. It is we who must let go of the power we give the past in our minds. We let go through forgiveness and see that the past is over and cannot touch us. Holy Spirit, I ask your help today to let the past go so that I can see the love and peace and joy that are here now and share it with all my brothers. I thank you for your gentle teaching that leads me home to the light. In the text, Jesus talks about the tiny tick of time and the fact that with the thought of separation came its undoing. We never really could make a world of separation in reality. That thought of separation was undone in an instant. So the whole dream of separation has been undone. It is over. It is a dream of time with a past and future that never happened. The whole dream in its entirety was an attempt to cover up the truth that we, as extensions of love, are still safe in the eternal mind of God. As we learn to hand over each part of the dream to the Holy Spirit to be undone, we gradually undo our belief in the dream. We gradually let go of what never was. We let go of thinking that guilt could ever be real. We let go of projecting guilt onto imaginary images of separation. We gradually recognize that the past is over. We see that all that we feared is merely a dream that in fact is over. We are led to recognize that we are still love and that can never change. We gradually free ourselves from the chains that our belief in separation has bound us with. We see that the one solution that really heals is to let go of our belief in separation. The truth of our oneness in love is true and will forever be true. The past, the imaginary dream of separation, can touch us not as we cease to place our belief in it. This whole dream world of separation is over. A return to love is the only answer that has any meaning. The past is over. It can touch me not. Amen.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Kathleen. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Carla. And happy birthday on Sunday, my friend.
Oh,
Woo, bye.
Bye.
bye.